Folks, welcome. Welcome, everybody, to the LeeGOP Candidate Forum. What a crowd. What a place. Tremendous turnout. We've got so many great candidates here today. And let me tell you, folks, a huge thank you to the incredible volunteers and moderators who put this whole thing together. They did a fantastic job, believe me. Nobody puts on a better forum than these people. And how about David Gant and Susie Allen? Wow, I'm hearing absolutely fantastic things about these two. Great, great people. Real sharpshooters, the best. Winners, folks. They're going to do tremendous things. They're like the complete opposite of Sleepy Joe and Kamala. Total opposite. And folks, you got to join the LeeGOP. Go to LeeGOP.org right now. Sign up, check out the events and meetings. Tremendous stuff. Don't wait. Join today. You'll be glad you did. And now, folks, on to the forum. Candidates, get ready. It's your time to shine. Let's make this the best one yet. Tremendous!
Seen Madison roll up real fast.
It could be a battery pack.
Yeah, that does look like a battery pack, actually.
All right. Have fun.
All right, if each of you would stand up, say your name, which district you're running for, and tell if you're an ECI committed candidate.
Am I the first one? I am not an ECI admitted candidate.
There you go.
And I'm running in District 6 in Northwest Cape Coral. Are we supposed to do a longer intro or just say hello?
This is just to find out your name, what district you're with, and if you're ECI.
Joe Angrisano, District 6, Northwest Cape Coral. Thank you very much.
And are you an ECI candidate?
No, I am not.
Okay.
Thomas Senatore, District 1, and I am an ECI member.
Sean Hartman, District 1, also an ECI member.
Jeffrey Huddleston, District 6. Yes, I am an ECI member.
Good afternoon, Liza King, and I am participating in the ECI program as well. Thank you.
Great, you will be asked 3 or 5 quick fire questions. Please use your paddles. And then after that, you'll be followed by 5 debate questions. You'll be given a minute each to answer, and then that will be followed by 2-minute closing statement.
All right, everybody. My name is Bob Sutter. Sorry I missed you earlier. I had to go do something. But glad y'all could show up. I greatly appreciate it. I know what it's like to be sitting up there. So these are the quick fire questions. I don't know if there's exactly 5, but we'll go for that, okay? So you've got the paddles in front of you, yes and no. And all I'm asking you to do for these first couple of questions is just lift the paddle, okay? This is so easy. I think a caveman can do it. All right, here's the first question. Should Cape Coral impose stricter limits on new residential development to control growth? Okay, paddles down, please. Should the city accelerate canal dredging and maintenance, even if it increases utility fees? Something to think about. Okay, thank you, paddles down. Would you vote to reduce or freeze certain city spending to keep property taxes from rising? There we go. Get them all. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Here we go. Should Cape Coral invest more in road widening and traffic improvements before approving new major projects? Yeah. All right. There you go. I'm sorry, this is Republican activity, only one paddle. All right, please take the paddles down. All right, here we go. Do you favor stricter regulations on waterfront property alterations to protect the canal systems? I'll say it again. Do you favor stricter regulations on waterfront property alterations to protect the canal systems? All right? Okay. Next question. Would you support hiring more police officers and firefighters, even if it requires a larger city budget? Got it? All right. Somebody's been reading Facebook questions a whole lot around here recently. All right. Should the city pursue more grants and partnerships for hurricane resiliency and sea level rising planning? One more time. Should the city pursue more grants and partnerships for hurricane resiliency and sea level rising planning? Thank you very much. That was down. And the last quick fire question, and then we get into the good ones. Do you support raising property taxes to fund improved stormwater and flood mitigation projects? I'll say it again. Do you support raising property taxes to fund improved stormwater and flood mitigation projects? Okay, thanks very much. All right, now that we're done with that, let's get to the meat and potatoes of what's going on, okay? And we're going to start, Lisa, let me start with you, okay? And we're going to start with these questions, and time to you ready? 1 minute per response. Yellow in 30 seconds, all right? And it appears that everybody else kept in time because we're running fast. So let's see if we can do that. All right, here you go. Here's the question. Please, if you need me to repeat, I'll be more than happy to repeat. Given Cape Coral's rapid population growth, how do you balance the need for new housing and infrastructure with preserving the city's unique canal front and low-density character?
Good afternoon. I think the way that you balance that is you make sure that the infrastructure is tied with the development that's happening. So there's a shared responsibility, and I think we're starting to see some of that, and that's the direction that we need to head in. Thank you.
All right, Jeff, do you want me to repeat it? Or you get it? I'll repeat it. All right, here we go. Given Cape Coral's rapid population growth, how do you balance the need for new housing and infrastructure with preserving the city's unique canal front and low-density character?
Oh, it's too early in the morning. Basically, we need to look at the housing because right now, the housing's being developed by developers, but nobody's buying. So we need to look into that issue right there to save some money for the city. For the waterfront issue, we've got to keep an eye on the way they're developing it. We have problems with the traffic issue because people are coming in and they're all living here, but they're going somewhere else to work. So to balance it out, we need to put more businesses in this area too. Thank you.
This is actually a cornerstone of my campaign, having grown up in Cape Coral. I have grown up with this city, and I want to make sure that we remain uniquely Cape Coral. I believe the way we do that is cooperation. What I have seen through my years covering City Council, Cape Coral Council Watch, is you have residents come in at the last minute when they're about to rubber stamp a development. And they're going to be over and say, oh, we don't want this there. So we need developers to meet with the neighborhoods beforehand, have a cooperative approach where we're all working together to build Cape Coral in a way that we need to build it. I want to touch on something that Amanda Cochran said earlier with the Burt Harris law as well. You know, we need to be able to challenge overdevelopment and unnecessary growth, especially in areas that are environmentally sensitive. Places like Yellow Beaver Creek, places like Redfish Point are areas that I intend to protect if I am your city councilman.
Okay, so I deal with this on a monthly basis. So I'm the vice chair on planning and zoning in Cape Coral, and we get these come across us all the time. We can't infringe on people's property rights at all. But what happens is they come before us, they want to make zoning changes. For example, you want to come in here and you have a single family zoning, and you want to go to multifamily, or you want to go to high density. Well, we're the first level of protection for the city. We make recommendations, we don't make decisions. We make recommendations going to the city council. They're the ones that decide yes or no. So on council, that's where we have to make a decision. So when we had people come for us, we had Yellow Beaver Creek or Redfish Point, and even though Redfish Point never got before us, the consensus was we were a hard no. Don't touch our preserves. Let's just keep our growth properly. And that's our first phase of defense. Thank you.
I was interested in the question, part of the question that mentioned the character of the city. And I have to agree with, we have so many beautiful areas in Cape Coral, but for some reason they're ignored. And that has to do with the natural surroundings that we have. Redfish Point is being mentioned. There's a golf course that's in play right now that no one knows what to do with. And I believe also we can do a lot better job on the park program. But we really do need to broaden the tax base. I think that's essential to keep everybody, as far as growth is concerned, I don't know how we can grow without broadening the tax base. And last but not least, we have such an advantage here with the amount of properties available for development. I'm not so sure that we're selling the city like we should to the type of development that would actually improve the tax base. So that would be one of the things that I'd be looking at.
Okay, here comes the next one, all right? Once again, it's a minute, and Jeff, I'm going to start with you, all right? Pass that microphone all the way down, all right? This is a topic that's been jumping up and down around Facebook, different social media platforms, and I'll be happy to say it a few times. The proposed 2027 increase in the homestead property tax exemption to $150,000, then to $250,000, is expected to create major revenue shortfall for our city. How would you address potential budget gaps without severely cutting services or raising millage rates on non-homestead properties?
Well, to be honest with you, they're putting a scare in all the residents. And that's not right. Because if the city had any common sense, they could actually sit down and look at each other and say, hey, let's figure this out. What we need to do is start cutting fats in the city itself. We have people that's making 3 times more than what they're really supposed to be doing. So what we have to do is start there and then start working our way down. So to have taxes burden on the residents is not the right thing to do. So what we need to do is figure out a better budget plan.
Oh, man. And I won't forget about you. So I do think as well, this is also being blown out of proportion from like the initial amount that I'm seeing. I think it's what, 47 million out of a $1.47 billion budget. That's like a 3% cut. I'm not too worried about it. I think you look at the top, focus on the upper crust of the costs, and then you also look at programs that aren't bringing in any form of revenue. So you kind of have like 3 tiers of programs. You have some that are bringing in enough revenue that it's self-sustaining, some that's bringing in some revenue, but there's still some subsidy, and those that are bringing in no revenue. And you start targeting those first. But I definitely want to do what we can to protect our parks and our parks programs through alternative forms of funding, like public-private partnerships and other creative sources of funding. So there are ways we can do it. I don't think it's as doom and gloom as some city officials are making it seem. We will need to have a plan long-term, and that is something we will have to discuss with the experts. But yeah, thank you.
I'm going to interrupt, Annette, if you come up. We have one more candidate. I didn't know that they were coming, or anyway, we're going to have her come up.
Oh, come on up, Annette.
To be fair to Annette, we started early.
Yeah, we started early. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Annette's never late. She's just on Annette time. No, Annette's, she's on time. We started way early.
I want to give her a chance to answer.
No, that's okay.
Let's go this way.
Then we'll give her
All right, and then I'll restate this question. I'm not going to go back to all 90 questions.
Yeah.
But I'll restate to this question for her. All right, so Tommy, go ahead. You want me to ask it again? All right, this way Annette can hear it. Just think about it. All right. All right, the question is this. The proposed 2027 increase in the homestead property tax exemption to $150,000 and then to $250,000 is expected to create a major revenue shortfall for the city. How would you address potential budget gaps without severely cutting services or raising millage rates on non-homestead properties? Tommy, please.
Okay, great, thank you so much. So the numbers that came across are about $34 to $40 million shortfall. And what the city manager has just done, he sent out a letter to all the employees, in my opinion, is fear-mongering. It's to put the fear of God in all the people saying, we're going to cut services, we're going to cut employees, we're stopping all new hires, and heaven forbid somebody retires, we're not going to hire new people. There is so much fluff in that budget. I've been looking over the last 2 years of our budget. There's so much extra money. Last year, we just spent over $27 million on overtime. We have employees that are making over 60% of their salary in overtime. But yet, when we talk to the people in positions saying that we don't have a shortfall of staff, we are 100% staffed right now, and obviously going forward for fiscal year 27, we're going to need more people. But if we are 100% staffed now, my question was, why do you have so much overtime? The reason must be either you're, thank you.
Thank you.
First and foremost, we deserve these tax cuts.
Yep.
It's an easy choice. We deserve these tax cuts. I have to reiterate what Tom just said. I can't believe that was paid for fear-mongering by the city. Paid for, so as far as changing things from the top, I think it's very important. We see overspending in the city nonstop. That also has the money in the budget. When you see an original proposal for a $250 million Taj Mahal Yacht Club, you have to understand that the money is there to easily compensate for the tax cuts. It's an easy job. We can do it. People are asking for line-by-line budget review. It's achievable. The tax cut is deserved by every single resident. Thank you.
Just keep passing all the way down to Lisa, and then Jeff, you'll pass it to Annette next.
Thank you. So the way I look at this is maybe a little unique. I think it has to be a multifaceted approach. You can't just go at it one angle and expect that you can make these sort of cuts. This is somewhat unprecedented, and one thing that I want to point out before I get to into the weeds as to the approach that I believe would be most prudent for our residents is that we do have to keep in mind that this home rule erosion is something we should be concerned about. But in terms of the cuts, we should look at every opportunity to include a hiring freeze, to include every department looking for efficiencies. And we have to do all of that before we look at any type of revenue increase, but it isn't a quick answer, and I do think we need to look at all the details closely because it was put together pretty quick. I mean, I just went and listened to one of our county commissioners who said they put this bill together in 24 hours.
Hi, so, how we can budget for this? There is some fat in our budget. We do over budget. We can, instead of planning for 100% employee retention or 100% employees, then we can possibly do 97% because not all of our positions are always filled. There's a lot of ways to be able to save in there. We've got a lot of fat that needs to be cut out of it. As far as home rule goes, the home rule erosion is happening, but there is a reason for it. People aren't happy with the way the cities are running the city. So therefore, the state had to step in and do something about it. If they didn't, then we'd be ticked off at the state. So we need to gain the trust back of our citizens and really spend money on our needs and not our wants. And that's how we're gonna make room in the budget, because it's there.
Thank you. Sean, you're next. All right, here's the next question, all right? and I'll be happy to repeat this for everyone. The $200+ million yacht club that everybody's been talking about. The yacht club redevelopment is one of the largest projects in the city history. Do you believe the benefits to the residents and tourism justify the cost, especially amid concerns about funding and hurricane resiliency?
Short answer is no. That's it, thank you. No, look, with the yacht club, I think that going through the first phases to get the beach back up and running, with the exception of the $4 million crapper, that's literally throwing money down the drain. We don't need to have that. I do think looking into a public-private partnership, there are 2 bids that haven't been publicized yet, that I think, one of which I think would be very good for our city. So looking into a public-private partnership for the rest of the costs, I think is the best way to go. But no, I don't think that the benefits are worth the $200 million, but I will say that I think the Cape Coral Yacht Club is a valuable part of our community, and every time I hear someone say that they want to sell it, I think about, it'd be like selling the Statue of Liberty for people like the Cape Coral. As someone who grew up in the city, who spent so much time as a kid in Cape Coral, I want to make sure we bring that back to its full potential.
Okay, the yacht club. Oh my goodness. Spending that much money. So I've been in Cape Coral for over 22 years. And that's always been the landmark. The first thing I ever went to was the community center. Then we went on the pier. We went to the beach. And we enjoyed it. And then when I started doing boating, we started using the docks. And then when I got involved with the police department, we used to store our boats there. So this is a landmark to the city. To spend that kind of money is ridiculous. The people in power are trying to make this a tourist attraction. They want to have this conference center. They want this massive, elaborate pool. Like Sean said, a $4 million crapper. Okay. You could build that for under $400,000. So where's the money going? There was talk just the other day. Well, on Fort Myers Beach, they have to go deep because of the surge and hurricanes, all that. But you can't compare the Gulf of America to the Caloosahatchee River. It's not the same. It's not the same. So no, we got to scale it back. We have the money. Thank you.
Can the city finish a project on time? No, I don't think so. I enjoyed for many years, I brought all my family members to the yacht club area. I think that one of the things that I'm hearing for feedback all the time is a community center. That's the one thing, and it was a revenue stream. All the weddings that have occurred there in the community center, the pool is a good idea, but spending, so we have to clean up the beach. We need a community center. We need the dock facilities fixed, but no one's mentioning the pier. Where's the pier out of all this? Naples, Fort Myers, the piers have been approved. No one's talking about the pier. So all of those things, the Kearns Restaurant Group is involved, the infrastructure's going on place. We can do it for a lot less. We can have a community center. We can have the beach restored again, but let's get on it. Let's find the new politicians that will get things done. Thank you.
Pass it to Annette. No, just give it to Annette. We'll just go with Annette, Jeff.
Oh,
Let's go that way.
very random. So the yacht club, I grew up here and spent my summers because my parents couldn't afford the different camps, so they dropped me off at the pool, me and my sisters, and that's where we spent our summers as the yacht club. Lots of fond memories of the yacht club. With that being said, does it need to be as expensive as they're saying it is grandiose? No, it does not. But I will say that they did do community outreach, and that was what people originally wanted there. So they didn't just pull that design from nowhere. They did pull it out of the community outreach. Then they came back at it and said, this is the price. Nobody was expecting that price. That price was way out. And so now we've got to go back to the drawing board. We have to scale it down. We don't have the money for that big of a thing. So I do say, let's get a developer in there, finish it, just do what we've already said we're going to do, and bring in a developer and have them take care of it. We don't need to spend any more money.
You know, that's the biggest thing now. Everybody wants to talk about the yacht club. It's been 4 years. This city administration are a bunch of morons. As far as I'm concerned, they spent $7 million on the pretty little pictures to design this, and yet they haven't done anything to the beach, the piers, or the boat docks. They turned around, filled in the pool that could have been refurbished, fixed up. We need to start doing something right. We need to turn around, get the beach fixed, get the pier, we have the boat house is coming back. Let's get everything ready. Worry about the center later. But right now, 4 years and money is just sitting there. So if I'm elected, we need to get the beach ready. We need to get everything done and set a due date. Thank you.
Thank you. So the reality is that it's probably going to become a moot topic because of the financial situation that I believe that we're gonna find ourselves in. With that being said, I think it's the city's responsibility to focus on the core essential services, the infrastructure, and the marine services. I've taken it upon myself to reach out to the Army Corps of Engineers, and you know, we have to make sure that we're not working as a city in a silo. We have to work closely with our county, our state, and our federal government. And I have done that to see what we can do, because as even a resident, we can make sure that we are advocates to make sure that this process gets expedited, because the federal process of working with all the different federal agencies that are involved can be delayed. And so that's somewhat outside of the city's hands, but we're still about 8 months out on that. So thank you.
All righty, we're only got 1 or 2 questions left, all right? And let's pass the mic down. Who did I stop with? All right, here we go. And this is one that everybody loves to talk about. Okay. The city recently acquired the 175-acre abandoned municipal golf course with plans to transform it into a community asset. What vision do you have for this site? Active park space, limited development, environmental restoration, or something else? And how should it serve our growing population?
Okay, so let's just start with no housing.
Yeah.
You're not going to put any apartment buildings, no housing complex, no affordable housing, nothing. The other problem is it's going to take years before they can mitigate it, where they can actually start using it and building it. A future use would be nice for a park, maybe an amphitheater. You know, if they're going to put a pool and you don't want to put a yacht club, maybe put a small Olympic-sized pool there. But make it where it has walking tracks. You know, places where people can take their dogs out for a walk, or seniors want to go for a walk, like a little trail, maybe some exercise path. But we've got to make it where it's more open for community to be using it. Because right now we have it, it's not being used properly, but it's going to take a lot of work. So I'm ready to make it happen. I'm willing to put the time in, and we can do it. Thank you.
Oh, you're next. Oh, I thought it was going the other way. Well, you know, I jotted down a few notes, but I've been watching some things online and being very cognizant of the ecology. Where I work at Home Depot, I've got a person that works in the garden department that always mentions the native plants. So I want to go in a different direction. A native plant education center, use some of the acreages for that would be very nice. And the other thing that came top of mind for that area would be something for the children. What are we doing for the children in the way of park space that would be something much different from the somewhat barren spaces that we've been developing now? People have been looking at something that would be greenery. And also, and I'm just looking to see if anybody else shakes their head. Can we do 9 holes of a golf course there? There we go. And then use the other half for beautiful green space and maybe a little something for education and for the children. That's what I would advocate, a mixed-use space, both for the children, and maybe we'll keep the 9 holes. That'd be a lot of fun. Thank you.
Hand it to Sean. So there's a guy on Facebook named Dusty who pushes for a Cape Coral Botanical Garden, and I very much support bringing in a botanical garden, bringing in some green space. I also like the idea of putting an Olympic-sized pool there, so we don't have to worry about that at the yacht club. I'm a swimmer myself, that's usually how I lose my weight, and there's not a pool for me to go swimming right now, except for a private gym pool. I also want to do our best to bring back some of the amenities from the Cape Coral Gardens from when this city was founded, like the statues of the Patriot that we used to have, possibly even the Walton Waters, if we can get that sponsored in a public-private partnership. But it is a large enough space that we can do a lot and make it a strong amenity for a destination spot. That's one of those areas when we look at like the parks that they did at JC Park or what they want to do at the Yacht Club or Four Freedoms. Those are neighborhood parks. Those are supposed to be small. The old Coral Oaks Golf Course, that is a large enough area that we can do a lot of great things on that. So I look forward to serving on that way.
So, for me, it's not up to me to decide what happens to that golf course. It's up to the residents that live around it. So whatever those residents that live around it want, that's what I want for them. They bought on a golf course. If they want to keep it a golf course, then let's keep it a golf course. If they want to turn it into a garden, let's turn it into a garden. But guess what? They live there. So they should be the ones deciding. And I would recommend having, I think that they already did have the town halls to decide on what they wanted. So whatever they came up with, that's what I think should be there.
Well, as she said, I do agree with, we need to listen to the residents because they are the ones that's telling us taxpayers are taking care of this because it is coming out of the taxpayers' money. One thing that I have seen that a lot of the residents talk about, there ain't nothing to do. So what we need is a community center there at the golf course. We also need some activities that we can do. Having an Olympic pool, we bring in people from around. Having people to walk around the area to observe the wildlife. We have no wildlife anymore because we got all these residents coming up. We need some activities in Cape Coral. So let's look at it that way. And from like I said, the residents spoke to me, they have nothing to do here in Cape Coral. They have to go to Fort Myers or anywhere else. Thank you.
Thank you. So the immediate residents were surveyed, and we're right now at a posture where we're waiting for the city to present a few options based on those survey results. But again, let's face the reality, and the reality is that I'm all for quality of life, but I'm also for making sure that we keep our taxes reasonable. And in order to do that, I think we may not necessarily be in a position to invest a whole lot of dollars into that project. I'm all for preserving it, but I also think we need to look at things that generate revenue for the city to make sure that we keep the taxes down. Thank you.
All right. There we go. Can we pass that microphone to Annette? Because I think everybody's had a chance to respond first to a question, and now it's Annette's turn. So listen up. All right. With the population growth, straining resources, and the looming 2027 tax changes, how should the city prioritize large-scale projects like the yacht club and the golf course redevelopment versus core infrastructure needs such as roads, flood control, and public safety?
My mind just went blank. Don't you hate it when it happens? So our responsibility as city council is safety, public safety. It is quality of life and getting our infrastructure in place. So those are the things that we need to focus on. We don't need to focus. We need to focus on making sure that we have the money to do those projects first. I would love it if we could change the way we do things and come up with the cost of things before, as we're designing, or before we, if we come up with an idea, say, why don't we say, this is how much money we have in the budget, let's make it fit the budget. Instead of, we want this, now how are we gonna pay for it? That's kind of how I would like to see things happen. I don't know if that's gonna happen until I get in there, but that's what I'm aiming for.
Hold on, I can take it if it's go my way. So obviously, we always want to focus on our core essential services. It really comes down to distinguishing between our wants and our needs. And if it's a project that we don't need at that time, then we will unfortunately need to delay it in order to be fiscally responsible. But I think when it comes to our big three needs are always going to be our public safety, our infrastructure, and definitely maintaining our current parks and natural resources and protecting our environment. Everything else, any other project, we may have to put on the back burner until we can find either alternative sources of funding or have a better way to raise revenue that doesn't include tax increases. I signed a taxpayer protection pledge, so I'm not going to be raising anyone's taxes when I am on the council. So we would have to look at ways to be creative with financing.
So first and foremost, we're definitely not going to be raising the taxes. We've got to stay within our budgets. As a business owner for over 40 years, I've had to stay within my budgets when I've been in my companies. But we're talking about public safety. I'm pretty much a big advocate for public safety. I've been an 8-year volunteer for the Cape Coral Police Department. I run the Marine unit, so I back them 100%. We should never touch that. As a matter of fact, the governor said that they were not going to be affected by that. So those are some things we got to keep in mind. The other part is, and I've heard people talk about the UEP. Right? We have all these costs, all the expenses. Why are they so expensive? I've heard a lot of different plans on how to make them more affordable, how reasonable. So before we have this kind of growth, let's make sure we have the infrastructure in place. Thank you.
Growth and infrastructure in place. I would have to agree with that also. The money is there with smart planning. Artificial intelligence was mentioned earlier, and all of this can be data-driven. Everything that we're doing right now with the proper analysis, we can do better, we can save money, and we can get exactly the Cape Coral that we deserve if there is smart planning. We have the money, we can expand the tax base, and we can do a lot better as a city overall with the cooperation of the city council from the top down. I know it's possible to make the city exactly what we're looking for. As far as the UEP is concerned, there are so many different ideas of what's going on with the UEP and how to afford it. And I believe that the first thing that we need to do with the UEP is respect the seniors. What is going on there? They're being forced out of the city, and they can no longer, why are they going to be forced to sell their homes? Let's take care of that program first with the senior citizens. Thank you.
Well, a lot of things have been said, and yes, we gotta worry about the safety. Problem is, it takes 2 years for a police officer to go through training and get certified to turn around and be out on the road in the city of Cape Coral. Nobody sees that. We have a mayor that's out there saying he hired 100 police officers. No, he hired 100 employees. We have to wait 2 years. So what we need to do is the city needs to stay in the budget. Families have to do it. Families have to cut things out. So why can't the city do the same thing? Every time somebody brings an idea up in the city, they start working on it, but they don't have the plan. So we need to turn around and stay in the budget to be able to work just like a family has to do. So senior citizens are moving out because they can't afford Cape Coral. Thank you.
Thank you, and I think your question was capital projects versus core essential services. And we do, we have to take it back to the basics. We have to focus on infrastructure, public safety, and the third prong for me is economic development. And how do we increase that commercial tax base in Cape Coral? Because currently that's been a pretty aging problem for Cape Coral, is that because our commercial tax base is so minimal, the burden is falling on the residents. So that's the 3 areas that we need to take it back to, and more than likely, we're going to see that we're gonna have to pause some of the capital projects in terms of the city taking those projects on. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, everybody. We've done with all the questions, except I want to provide Annette the opportunity to respond to a few of the panel questions we have, because we started early. She was on time. We started early. So please hand the panel up, okay? Green, yes, no, whatever. Yep, we'll go from there. So let's do this real quick. All right? You're having too much fun.
Go ahead, this is great.
All right, here it goes. Should Cape Coral impose stricter limits on new residential development to control growth? All right. Should the city accelerate canal dredging and maintenance even if it increases utility fees? Okay. Would you vote to reduce or freeze certain city spending to keep property taxes from rising? Thank you. Do you support expanding or requiring more affordable workforce housing in new developments? Do you support expanding or requiring more affordable / workforce housing in new developments? Okay. And the last one. Should Cape Coral invest more in road widening and traffic improvements before approving major new projects? Should Cape Coral invest more in road widening and traffic improvements before approving major new projects? Thank you very much. All right, so that concludes all the questions. All right, and each person is going to get 2 minutes for closing comments. Okay? And then you got who's got the microphone? Jeff, you got the microphone. Oh, you got the microphone. Go ahead. 2 minutes. Please start.
Thank you. I think this is our opening and closing all in one. So my name is Liza King. I've been a lifelong resident of Lee County, spent the majority of my life in Cape Coral raising my kids, and now my beautiful grandbaby is being raised there as well. So I have a vested interest. I've served over 30 years of my career serving the state judicial courts. So I have experience, I have relationships on a county, state, and federal level that I can bring back to the city of Cape Coral. Leadership is where I've spent the majority of my career as well, and I want to bring all that back for the betterment of Cape Coral. We have to keep it moving forward with all of the challenges that we will be facing from a fiscal perspective. It's important that we have solid leadership, and I have exactly what it takes. I ask for your support and your vote on August 18th. Thank you.
All right, my name's Jeffrey Huddleston. I've been in Cape Coral for 12 years. First 3 months, I started seeing a bunch of stuff that was going on that shouldn't be in the city. So I kept watching. I am a people person. I've done 30 years in emergency service, fire, EMS, air medical. I also worked in the funeral home business as a embalmer, funeral director, and a deputy coroner. I basically can spot everything that goes on because I observe everything. I'm a blue-collar worker. I believe that we need somebody in there that's going to actually speak up and not kiss butt. So that's what we're having a problem with now. So we need to get somebody that's actually going to be in there to support the voice of the people, not turn around and say, well, you're going to do what we say. We need to listen to the people, and we're not doing that right now. So vote for me, Jeff Huddleston. You can get me on my website at jeffsafecapecoral.com. Thank you.
My name's Annette Warren. I'm running for Cape Coral City Council District 6, and I've lived in that community for 40 years. I am an Air Force veteran, and I have been an advocate and a volunteer. I'm a behind-the-scenes person, and I've been doing it since I was in high school. I was a police explorer when I was in high school. After high school, I went into the military. After I got all that, I started working for the Chamber of Commerce, Relay for Life, PTA for my kids' school. I spend my life giving back. service before self is my motto. It's not just the Air Force motto. So I live my life by that. Now I want to serve you as your Cape Coral City Council District 6 council member. There's nobody that's going to fight for you harder. I was kicked out of the Northwest Neighborhood Association because I stood up for the road club, and actually I was standing up for our budget, because why are we spending more money on doing another project or trying to find another solution for something that we already had there? So I am very passionate. I will fight for you. I might sound timid when I'm public speaking, but I am a fighter, and I will fight for you. Again, my name's Annette Warren. I look for your vote come August 18th, and thank you very much.
So first off, thank you to the Lee County GOP for hosting this event, and this is a pretty surreal situation for me. First off, I am an alma mater. This is my alma mater here at FSW, but more importantly, I got my start at the Lee County GOP in these halls, because the Lee County GOP, before we used to meet where we would meet at Word of Life Church, met here at this college when I was going to college, and that's when I first started getting involved. So to be here now as a candidate, running to serve you on the city council, and that's the one thing I want you to take away from my campaign. I am running to serve you, not rule over you. We have too much of that going on, not just in the city council, but everywhere. So I have been involved with you guys fighting the good fight for 15 years now, fighting for conservative leaders from the federal, state, and local level. If you go to SeanForCapeCoral.com, you can read my platform there. You can also read my DHOA Cape Coral plan. One of the things I've been hearing for more than a decade since I've been here is the city is one giant HOA. We need to deregulate our city, remove some of those unnecessary burdens, and reform our permitting process. That is long overdue, and that is going to be the main thing I am going to tackle on the city council. So my name is Sean Hartman, SeanForCapeCoral.com, and I am at your service. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Thomas Senatore. I'm running for District 1 City Council. So my background is really different. There's actually nobody running in any of the districts that had the same background. I come from a real world business background experience. For over 40 years, I created businesses that went and worked in 5 different countries. I've managed budgets. I've actually had to stay within budgets, so I know exactly, once I get on council, how to do that. I've had to review contracts. I had to hire employees. I had to review jobs, make sure that the jobs got done on time within budget. I'm also a Marine veteran, so I learned how to have integrity, how to get the job done, how to work with all different types of people in all different areas. And for us, as a Marine, failure was never an option. I'm also big on volunteerism. I've been a Cape Coral police volunteer for 8 years. I just attained the rank of sergeant, which means I'm a supervisor. It was kind of nice to get a little collar insignia there, which is good. So I run it right now, and we do that. I'm also the vice chair of planning and zoning, where we make recommendations to city council on how it should go. And a lot of times, I'm the outlier on the votes. I will always vote for citizens' rights, to protect their property rights, even though the applicant may want me to protect their rights, but they're affecting the rights of the neighbor. So if you want someone who has a beautiful single-family home, have a 4-plex or 6-plex or 8-plex next to them because they want a zoning change, I will always vote no for that. My objective is to become a servant for you, not to rule over you. And being on council, that's one of the most important things. We are elected to be an official who is the word for the community, to be your voice. And that's why I want your vote. My name is Thomas Senatore. I'm asking for your vote for City Council District 1. Thank you.
Good job, Tom. You know, if there's three things that I'd like you to take away from my campaign, 3 things. Government works best when it listens. Leadership works best when it welcomes scrutiny. And democracy works best when every resident has a seat at the table. Amen. Amen. Like you, I'm tired of rising costs that make it hard to live in the communities we love. In Cape Coral, will do the work to cut wasteful spending, demand that growth pay its fair share and protect hardworking taxpayers. Current Current residents should not be subsidizing unchecked development. Public safety must come first. As we grow, I will ensure our police, firefighters, and EMTs have the resources they need to keep our families safe. I'm a true fiscal and social conservative with zero ties to the current administration or special interests. I answer only to you, seniors, growing family, the residents. Cape Coral's success matters for all of Lee County. When we control spending, complete critical infrastructure, grow responsibly, we reduce pressure on county services, strengthen our shared economy, and build a model for smart governance across the region. As a full-time council member, I commit to listening, delivering transparent decisions, and always putting residents' input and concerns first. Together, we can restore fiscal responsibility, create a business-friendly environment, strengthen our neighborhoods, and build a safe, affordable future for Cape Coral. I humbly ask for your support August 18th. You can learn more at savecapecoral.com. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
And now, would you like to have another extra 2 minutes since we
No.
we so rudely jumped ahead?
No, it's quite all right.
Well, I also want to announce that Annette is an ECI committee candidate. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, and thank you guys for coming. You guys can meet them out in the hallway for meet and greet if you like. And then the next up are going to be our Cape Coral mayor.
How about those outstanding candidates for Cape Coral City Council? Really fantastic people. And hey, don't forget, go to LeeGOP.org right now. It's the greatest site, loaded with more incredible candidate forum clips.